2 world wars, over 80 years of service, God's caliber. We have the 1911, but specifically we have a Rock Island Armory 1911. So this 1911, the model is called the GI Standard FS or something of the sort. And this is actually my first ever firearm that I purchased. Now the reason I went with the 1911 is because when I was watching videos, I was like, you know, the basic thing everybody does, oh, what's like best budget, best starter, best beginner friendly firearms. And ultimately I decided on the 1911 because the aesthetic of it, as you can see, it is a pretty handsome / beautiful looking gun. Specifically, I went with the Rock Island model because it was one of the more budget friendly models, and from all the videos I had seen, it was pretty reliable. I was very close to buying a Kimber because my brother has a Kimber. He has like the Kimber Raptor 2 model or something like that, but that was like $1,000 and I really didn't want to spend that much money on my first firearm, so I decided to go with the Rock Island Armory. And like I mentioned previously, almost every video I saw on YouTube, they had good reliability for like a $500-ish gun. Now, the one thing that might upset people is that it is not made in the USA. This specific model is made in the Philippines, so shout out to my people in the Philippines. I think, however, Rock Island is starting to make some of their models in the US, but not all of them. I'm not sure if the 1911s are made in the US, but they might be. But this is Filipino made. So details of the gun, what we have is a full-size 5-inch barrel, black parkerized finish. The gun does come with like these smooth wood grips. I'll try to find a picture of it. However, I did change it to some Amazon grips that I got, which they work pretty good because mainly being they're not smooth and they have good texturing. As you can see, it has like a little cutout for my thumb, which works very well. The gun is unloaded, by the way. And as you can see, the gun is chambered in God's caliber, the 45 ACP, which, as we all know, did in fact shoot down a plane at one point. The 1911 is the only gun to ever shoot down a plane. You can look it up. So, best firearm made. One thing about the gun, as you can see, is it does have trigger serrations. I'm not the biggest fan of them because if you're not wearing gloves, I have noticed that it does kind of cut your finger a bit, but if you wear gloves, it's fine. Just because it usually be something that you just like file down, it'll be good. As you can see, there's a beaver tail as well. One thing I did notice is that after shooting for a while, the beaver tail does tend to like hurt the webbing of your hand. There's some different types of beaver tails where it's like more upward, and those work a lot better. However, just like the trigger, if all you do is just wear some gloves, you'll be completely fine. Another thing, as you can see, it does have some very basic sights. Most guns nowadays tend to come with like 3-dot sights, you know, one on each side and then dot in the middle. These sights are a lot more antiquated, as you could say, but at the same time, it's a gun made in 1911, so obviously the design is going to be different. Newer models will have like 3-dot sights, some Novak sights, or maybe like a blacked out rear with like a fiber optic front. But this is being a more budget friendly model, so it's more like what general infantry would have been using anyway, so you definitely get the more traditional style in this gun. This is the definition of a bad idea.
Some behind the scenes footage.
Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
Behind the scenes?
It looks pretty good though, honestly. Like on some movie directing shit. See how this goes?
Just go like that?
Yeah, out the side.
Yeah. Because I'm for sure not going to hit anything.
So do you have a license to carry that?
No.
I don't think you have a license to try.
Alright, we're going to pull up on the ops right now. We're going to pull up on the ops.
Yeah. Talking all this shit. Right there, get him, get him, get his ass. Get his ass. Stay. Dip, 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 dip. Shit. Vamos a la verga. We're pulling up, we're pulling up. Get that fool, get that fool. Turn, turn, turn. What? No.
So, as y'all saw earlier, the gun does pass the drive-by test. However, I don't, but that's a skill issue at that point. So, let's get up to the main part, the reliability. How has the reliability been on the Rock Island Armory 1911? Let me just tell you this, it wouldn't win 2 world wars. So, when I first got the gun, within the first 100 rounds, it had around 10 malfunctions. Those malfunctions being the slide would not go forward all the way, so pretty much just gotta hit the back of the slide and it would go fully in a battery and then I could start shooting. However, that was an issue that has always happened. After the 500 round mark, I thought that, oh, you know, it's past the break-in period, that's not gonna happen anymore. It does happen less, but sadly it is still too common of an issue. I know sometimes they say that maybe you can like polish the feed ramps. Maybe I'll go get that done, but so far this gun is not that reliable. Like, just having to hit the back of the slide is just, it's too common of an occurrence. I know other people, as I mentioned, they don't have any issues. I think I just got a lemon because everybody else does not seem to have issues, but I do, so I'm guessing it was just luck of the draw. Another thing, this gun does not like 10-round magazines. Pretty much what would happen is the slide will lock back and I'll load a 10-round magazine in and I'll try to pull the back of the slide, or I'll hit the slide release, and when I have a 10-round magazine, it just, the slide does not go forward. I can pull back, I can hit the slide release, it just, nothing. I've even hit the back of the slide against like the wood back there and it will not go in a battery. And so what I would try to do is I, you know, hit the mag release. Not even that would work for some reason. I'd have to hit the bottom of the 10-round magazine because that was like a little lip with like a hammer against something, and then it would come out. So I don't know why 10-round magazines don't work on this gun, because they did work a couple times at the beginning. So, you know, sadly this gun would not win 2 world wars, but that's not, this is just an issue with my particular gun. Everybody else, as I mentioned before, does seem to have pretty good reliability. Overall, it is still a pretty good gun. The gun costs around like $450, give or take. And the trigger is pretty good. I can go and show you guys the trigger real quick. So you can see it's a little bit of take up. The reset. So it's a pretty good trigger. It's like a 4 to 6 pound trigger. One thing I did forget to mention, it does come with one 8-round magazine. That 8-round magazine, I don't have it no more because it took a shit. But overall, I'd give this gun like a 6.5 out of 10, because when it works, but when I have that little feeding issue, it's too much of a hassle. And even now that I have like around 1,500 rounds, the issue does still seem to keep happening. Although it seems like every 500 rounds it happens less, but nonetheless it always happens. So, you know, you ain't winning 2 world wars with this, sadly, but as a plinking gun, it is pretty fun. You know, it does suck that my first ever gun is not the most reliable, but you know, I bought it for the aesthetic. At the end of the day, I can always just use other guns for home defense, but It's a 1911, you know, God's caliber. With that being said, you know, thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you guys next time. Later.